Sometimes you feel like a nut, and sometimes you are one. But no, you can't feel my nuts. I sure do love the Kool-Aid Man. Every single morning, upon forcing myself out of bed from clinical depression, I rip out my Kool-Aid Man comic books and VHS recordings of vintage 1990s Kool-Aid Man commercial corporate content. Oh, yeah, he says. Oh, yeah! I scream in ecstasy so loud that it could shatter the very sound barrier. But I'm glad it doesn't, because the Kool Aid Man is made out of glass, and if the Kool Aid Man shattered, I'd cry myself to sleep. Cry myself tears of citric acid, salt, red 40, calcium phosphate, less than 2% ascorbic acid, vitamin C, and natural and artificial colors and flavors. Yeah. It was around 10 a.m., and I was pleasuring myself to the comic strip in which Kool Aid Man saves a hive of bees from Mecha Hitler when the doorbell rang. I ignored it and continued reading through the end of the main series. You see, while some people read their Bible or assorted other holy book every day, I read every single last final frigging episode of Kool Aid Man comics every single day. Upon the shocking conclusion in which Kool Aid Man becomes one with the universe by going back in time and pouring himself out into the Big Bang right before it bangs, I brushed my teeth, strapped on my Velcro sneakers, and finally got ready to answer the door. I can't tie my shoes. Oh, shucks, it was the Kool Aid Man. Just messing with you. It was my doctor. I've been standing for 5.5 hours to let you know that you didn't stop by for your annual checkup, he informed me. I would like for you to read. His neck was about to snap in anger. This frickin' pamphlet! What was this, a chick tract? I only read Kool Aid Man comics. Now get the frig out of my house, I declared, punch drunk on high fructose hijinks. I can't. We're standing outside your house. It was at that point that I could feel a vein snapping in my forehead in anger myself. I stormed right on back into my house, ran upstairs in search of my chainsaw, before I felt a sharp pain in my pinky and big toes that sent me jumping higher than Kool-Aid Man shooting a three-point shot to come off cool with inner city urban youth. I had stepped on my Lego reenactment of the Kool-Aid Man bursting through the Berlin Wall and offering President Ronald Wilson Reagan an icy cold glass of pink Flamingo as liquid refreshment from all that hot and heavy work combating communism. It was at that point that something very hot and heavy hit me. I I am the ultimate aficionado on Kool-Aid Man facts, trivia, and proverbs. But yet, Pink Flamingo wasn't released until 1992. I hit the floor and sobbed. Was I wrong all this entire time? No. I'm never wrong when it comes to the Kool-Aid Man. But should I have just been drinking water and going to the gym instead? Look, had someone somehow snuck in some Ecto Cooler into my cooler while I was on dialysis for the fourth time this week from the evil sugar. I felt my feelings go numb, both the mental and the physical ones. Listen, Mr. Winston, this is a very serious predicament you find yourself in. Dr. Kevorkian, not in actuality, I just like to call him that because I hate him for trying to make me lose weight, pedantically scolded me. You have type 2 diabetes, and you have had it for years, ever since your parents hooked you up with Incrediberry IVs while you were sleeping. I took a bite out of a piece of carpet that I once spilled grape Kool-Aid on. It is clear that you are not interested in getting any better. Thus, I made an emergency visit to convince me to clear out the pantry of Sharkleberry Finn once and for all. My voice got high pitched, my eyes wider than, I don't know, Oprah. Oh no, I just need 5 minutes of your time, that's all. If I could set up shop downstairs, that would more than do. Huh. I cross eyed at him and concerned, nonplussed, befuddled, one might say. Regardless, he did help me to my feet, which must not have been an easy task since I weigh more than 576 pounds. I could hear the floor shake beneath me as my thundered thighs caused a moderate sized earthquake somewhere on the other side of the world. He took me by the hand as he led me downstairs. We danced the waltz, and time seemed to stand still as he lit his incense and sacrificed a goat in a 5-foot basin by the fireplace. Um, I thought you were hitting on me just now. I'm just confused. You won't be confused much longer. In fact, you won't be for much longer. Oh no, please don't kill me. The mad doctor cackled like Bill Cosby when he slips quaaludes, or however you pronounce that, into wine. He feverishly heaved a cartridge of the Kool-Aid Man Atari 2600 Coleco video game into the fireplace as the hectic chuckling continued in chorus. A rather significant sacrifice. The Kool-Aid Man Atari game is actually a pretty sweet experience that actually not a lot of people know about. What the hell is going on? I retorted. He chanted more words faster than the speed of sound before shoving me into the fireplace, and I burned and melted like a land wheel treadmilling into a skeleton from a Richard Simmons workout tape. I fell into a handful of ashes before rebirthing like the river Phoenix. Within seconds, I grew an unimaginably ginormous belly, even larger than I had been in my previous life. My eyes, nose, and mouth felt as if they had been drawn on with black Sharpie, and I had eyes, hands, and feet made out of cheap Chinese sweatshop glass. As could be said for the rest of my outer body, I was also clearly missing genitalia. Oh, yeah! I screeched, slamming my way through the fireplace, a manslaughter of the witch doctor before well, I never clean out the chimney. It was full of dead rats with their tails hopelessly intertwined. I proceeded to smash my way through the walls of schools, hospitals, a life size Lego replica of the World Trade Center, and even the state capitol building. As I held up the governor by his necktie, I demanded free health care for the people. And, fearing for his life from lethal Kool-Aid injection, he gave in and legislation was immediately signed. Well, is it all's well that ends well? Only if you hate fine sugary beverages intended for only people of the finest taste, my friends. For that was when the military parked outside in battle tanks, shooting through the windows of the governor's mansion And just before I could defenestrate myself from the second floor, they had shot me right in the heart. Though Kool-Aid men don't have organs. No, right in the glass. My cherry red Kool-Aid blood poured into the fine Persian carpeting, donated to the governor as a special interest gift in exchange for waging some Middle Eastern war over polyamory oil marriages, nowhere near as worthy a cause as invisible grape, as my life became invisible. All had faded to black for the final, truly fatal time. Meanwhile, the Tang orangutan smiled a chimpish grin as he lowered his bazooka and heaved his excrement in the face of the governor's wife. Mm.